or Copa America. Jose and I were in Mexico for DICRA last year, and the Copa America was playing, and we weren't able to find a bar to watch the game, and I was shocked. I had to ask the hotel bar to put the game on, and they were like, "Really?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" I think it's because Chile was playing, so no one else cared because we were in Mexico. You know, the pork chop sandwiches is great when I'm running because the hand motions.
Why, God, why?
Why couldn't I find a place to watch the game? Okay, I don't think I'm supposed to go this way. I think I'm supposed to go this way. Because it won't let me in my house. Oh, that's a pigeon. I thought it was a soccer ball. Where do I go? So much of this game is me wondering where to go. I guess I'm supposed to head to the stadium? It's kind of difficult. I guess, yeah, I'll just keep following the soccer balls, I guess, but I'm not really sure how to get into the stadium. Oh, God. Whoa. That was really bad for motion sickness. Oh, God, why wasn't that included in the game? This game has warnings for mature themes. It should have warnings for motion sickness for real, though. This is bad. Oof. Ugh. Is this actually the game without the filters? Without the shaders? Because this is way better for my motion sickness, not having the wiggles on the periphery. Oh my god. The
Ese
buildings
día,
do
el Parque de la Carolina estaba vacío.
look melted.
Todos estaban en el estadio o pegados a los televisores viendo el partido. Al menos así me lo imagino yo. Así se ve el parque de verdad.
Is it?
Hicimos este scan 3D en el 2024.
That's pretty cool. This is a 3D scan.
A partir de esa primera clasificación al mundial, construyeron muchas canchas deportivas nuevas en el parque. Ahora hay canchas no solo de fútbol, pero también de vóley, tenis y básquet. Si quieres puedes reservarlas para que nadie te interrumpa mientras juegas.
It's pretty cool. I do like that the 3D scan didn't know quite how to process a basketball hoop. It's a caterpillar! That's cute. I like the hungry caterpillar. Let's go.
Moving a little up.
It's frustrating that you can't jump. I would absolutely go ham on that.
Me parecía muy importante que en el juego el parque suene igual a como suena en la vida real. Entonces decidimos traer a Ian, el sonidista, a Quito para grabar todos los ambientes.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Did people know that you
Sin
were...
embargo, cuando llegó, todos nos dijeron que era una mala idea grabar en el parque porque era muy peligroso entrar con los micrófonos de niñados que traía Ian. Terminamos contratando a Milton, un guardia de seguridad privado que nos acompañó durante estas grabaciones.
Cake. Right, Viper? Okay, this part's pretty cool. I like this part a lot. Not only because I finally don't feel sick, but also because it works with a hazy memory. Oh. It's like thematically appropriate. It's kind of fun.
Yo sí jugaba fútbol en este parque, pero nunca de niño.
Go offline while my hands are covered in blood. What are you
Quedaba muy
talking
lejos de
about?
mi casa y mis papás nunca me traían. Pero a los 13 años comencé a jugar en las juveniles del Deportivo Quito y los entrenamientos eran aquí. Solo duré 6 meses entrenando, pero me aprendí todo el parque de memoria. Cuando mi mamá me recogía, salía temprano del trabajo porque le daba pavor que yo camine solo en la noche por ahí. Ahora, con la excusa del juego, visito el parque siempre que estoy en Quito.
I wonder where this person lives now. What a nice little jog.
Yo crecí en un Ecuador que ya se había clasificado al mundial. Tratamos todas las maneras de retratar este momento, pero nada le hacía justicia. Entonces solo mira por ti mismo.
Oh.
La única versión que encontré con la narración ecuatoriana tiene justo una propaganda en el momento del gol. Típico. Ahí va.
Alright, we're on top of some trees. Let's watch it.
Seltzer, rápido, alivio para que sigas tu
They
ritmo.
were kidding. That's
¿Dolor?
amazing.
Toma,
It's crushing pain.
Ráyate con Chevrolet. Corsa 3 puertas desde $182 y un 2.2 cabina simple desde
That's very funny.
$271. Gran Vitara 3 puertas desde $317. Con estas cuotas se rayaron.
Con el nuevo menú latino de los microondas LG, con un solo
Oh,
toque
thank
puedo
God.
cocinar.
Oh, I do like that they stopped the ad like, oh no! That's amazing. That's a lot of people. A lot of people in that stadium.
¡De Jaime! ¡Y va en camiones! ¡Y el grito de una tribuna! ¡Y el salto que llega! ¡Lo buscó el flaco! ¡Lo alcanzó arriba! ¡También es grande!
You know what? I'm going to say something controversial. I miss that aspect ratio. It was a good aspect ratio. I like the little square box. Oh, we're back to this. We had a brief reprieve. Okay, so this is 8 years later. So this person is now 16. I mean, technically, Julian admitted that he was 4 when these events transpired. So then he would only be 12. But then he said in the game he made himself 8. So I don't know. We could be anywhere between the ages of 12 and 16. But let's find out. A 4-3 aspect ratio.
En el 2002, el Ecuador juega su primer mundial. Los partidos se jugarían al otro lado del mundo, en Corea y Japón. Debido a la diferencia horaria, todo el país tendría que despertarse muy temprano para poder apoyar a la selección. El Ecuador se eliminaría por primera vez en la primera fase, tras derrotas contra Italia y México. Los jugadores vuelven derrotados, pero el pueblo los recibe como héroes. 8 años después, tras una derrota injusta contra Uruguay, el Ecuador no lograba clasificar al Mundial nuevamente.
¿Y dónde es la fiesta?
Es por aquí, creo, en la casa de un amigo de un amigo.
¿De un amigo de un amigo?
Sí,
Okay, so now mom runs the
está-
show.
no, es cerca de la casa, no te preocupes.
Es la clásica fiesta de un amigo que llega el amigo del amigo como invitados y nadie se conoce entre nadie.
No, sí me conocen, sí les he conocido full veces.
¿Y cómo va a regresar?
Bueno, creo que íbamos a dormir, no íbamos a dormir donde mi papi hoy.
Pero igual tiene que regresar allá.
No.
¿Cómo va a regresar?
Sí,
¿They
él
divorced?
capaz me puede pasar viendo, ahí yo me arreglo con él. No
Ya,
te
pero
preocupes.
puede averiguar eso antes de irse a la
Sí, sí,
fiesta.
sí, no
¿Me
te
avisa?
preocupes, ahorita yo le llamo.
Ya, pero me avisa.
Yo te
verá.
aviso, sí.
Ok.
Ahí después hablamos. Ahorita ya tengo que salir con mis amigos.
Ya, ok. Y entonces, Lucía, ¿cómo le fue?
She's
hoy
so
día en el
chill.
cole?
Tenía mi prueba de matemáticas y
I like how as soon as Lucia starts talking,
Uy, no.
it's like left
¿Y
stick to
cómo le
move.
fue?
Don't listen about your sister's dad. I don't care about her.
Pero le hicieron preguntas difíciles.
Sí, o sea, tenía la calculadora.
Pero no le dejaron usar
Can I eat my
calculadora.
food? This looks
Para
good as hell.
ciertas preguntas sí.
Bueno,
pero-
juego
Pero
frito,
tipo así como
tomate.
de suma, restas, divisiones.
Okay, so
¿qué
the
eran?
mom and dad
O
had
sea,
a
me
video
dejaban
store.
usar para las preguntas
I
complicadas,
guess Netflix
pero
killed
a veces
that.
a
So
mí
now we're
también me
in a
cuestan
restaurant.
las no tan complicadas.
O sea, como las que tiene que hacer con la cabeza.
Wait, why is
Como
this
que,
in
por
English?
ejemplo,
Dividir división
dinner
de
sides.
números
This must be an asset that they
grandes
bought.
y multiplicación.
Y así como problemas también
Okay.
matemáticos.
All right, let's go make bad choices.
Trato de dibujar en papel.
Don't even acknowledge me.
¿Qué más,
All right,
Julián?
hooligans.
¿Qué más?
Hola.
Hola, ¿cómo están?
Bien ahí. No, no tan bien.
¿Por qué?
Capaz me queda supletorio, loco.
¿Otra vez?
Sí, weón, y me iba a ir a la playa, qué ver.
Yo sí me voy a estar a la playa.
Bueno, ahí topamos cuando vaya. ¿Tú vas a ir a la playa o no?
Obvio, pues.
A ver ese balón.
¿Y vos, pero qué? Entonces ese día te quedas.
Sí, loco. No sé,
No es
capaz sí
tuyo,
la saco.
weón.
Capaz sí la saco.
¿Cuándo te avisan?
No sé.
Pero estudiarás, pero estar en la playa, un fútbol en la playa, uff.
Audio sounds kind
Los
of cool.
tiempos, loco.
Pero igual ya ni llegamos al mundial.
¿Dónde estaban cuando
A ti sí no ves fútbol.
No.
This guy
Se
again.
nota.
It's him.
O sea, lo que es que no nos fue tan mal en las eliminatorias.
Casi, si ganábamos ese partido con Uruguay,
Ahí está.
ya estábamos, pero ese Forlán, weón.
¿Será que va bajo? Es que a Uruguay yo creo que, bueno, no sé, entra de repechaje.
No,
igual.
yo no
Cool
creo
heart
que-
rate.
No creo
Wait,
que-
why was my heart rate up?
Aparte que nos robaron el partido, si era feo.
Oh, it was 69.
Nos
Probably.
robaron un penal.
Sí, sí, no me hago de acuerdo. Qué ida.
Sí. ¿Y qué? ¿Cuál es
Where
el
are you
plan
stuck on? I've never played Disco Elysium. Can I even just dribble
hoy?
it?
Pero a mí no me invitaron.
Chicos, te cola.
¿Qué tal, Rafa?
This is how difficult the controls are.
Pero antes deberíamos ir a alguna previa, ¿vale?
¿Será que sí es
skill
fresco,
issue.
pero?
Everyone has a skill issue.
No vaya a ser como...
God. Finally, just stay in
Ay,
there.
ay.
This is your home. Stay there.
No, no le cuentes, no le cuentes.
Sí, todo el mundo se enteró.
¿Qué pasó?
¿O no se enteró?
¿En qué fiesta? Yo no, es que estaba
En la de la
Otavalo.
De
Victoria.
la Vicky.
Cool.
¿Qué pasó?
¿Te acuerdas de una fiesta de 15 por el Nacional?
Ajá.
Nada, o sea, bueno, lo mismo
I
que
feel
ahorita,
bad for
el
her. I'm not
Financito,
gonna
no,
make her
no,
run more.
tú sí estabas invitado.
Yo,
Sí.
primera
El
vez que
This
estaba
guy needs to
invitado.
stretch his
ajá,
legs.
ajá.
Ajá.
Pero les caímos en manada, así como...
It's kind of weird that your friends never get
más,
names.
pero unos 8.
Sí.
Right? Isn't that weird?
¿Quiénes estaban?
Todos los imbéciles de
look at
nuestros
my watch.
amigos. Y el Joaquín, ya sabes cómo es ese man, como la etiqueta era interno,
Ya.
el man llegó y ya cuando agotamos todos los recursos, le dice al guardia, y había que venir con terno, y se baja el pantalón. Yo vine en terno de baño.
No.
Y a ella no le gustó el chiste al guardia.
Y además yo no sé, ese man llegó ya medio chomado. Como
No
que yo
sé.
no entiendo
Oye, pero
qué.
ese
Yo
man
no
sí
creo que
planeó.
toma él, ¿o sí? No sé, toma.
Ese día yo no sé, algo estaba.
Estaba difícil.
Oye, pero ¿crees que planeó desde el principio?
Ah, no, él es una mente
Un
maestra.
payaso.
Pero obviamente todos nos matamos de la risa. Pero después,
Oh man.
Después.
después,
A ver, cuenta, Julián, ¿qué pasó?
es que después.
Yeah, please. Just let me do the ball for a while.
Obviamente ya les conoces a estos manes como
This is
son,
gonna help
belicosos.
next game.
Comienzan, yo no sé quién lanzó esa piedra. El pobre.
Oh, there's that motion sickness.
Pero, entonces nada, comenzaron a lanzar una piedra y como que la piedra ya pegó en la pared, en la puerta y ya el guardia que estaba dejando entrar porque era con lista.
Oh, I actually don't think I can watch this. I think I should just close my eyes until it's over. Chat, let me know when this is over.
Le creo al
Señor, yo no necesito nada.
Eso sí no está de tu mamá.
Just listening for the sounds of the football.
Madre, verga, no, ya nos dio.
Nope.
Lleve su cevichocho. Cevichocho rico, cevichocho barato. Lleve su
Oh, it's the
cevichocho.
chocho vendor.
75 centavos del
Can I open
cevichocho.
my eyes? Oh no, nope. Boy, that sucks. I can't even watch this whole final scene. I hope it's the final
Porque
scene.
básicamente las montañas.
I mean, I can see. I'm stealing glimpses because it is cool to see the city skyline.
Que le quieren
see all the
mucho a él.
lights,
Pues,
but
todos los
it's
sobrinos,
not
como él no
good.
tuvo hijos, los sobrinos son como hijos. Entonces es la adoración con él. Y mami,
Look at all the dogs. All right, we did it. We did it, chat. We made it. You did miss a cute dog kick the ball. I think I kind of saw it for a split second. Oh, I am very sick now. I have thoughts. Thank you. I like how they credit someone therapy. Oh, they don't actually... Wait. Is it just the real people? Or is this the character and then this is who voices them? I don't think so, right? Seems like they're just all voice actors, maybe? Amadeus, cool name. There are a lot of cool names in the credits. Oh boy. Alright. I'm sure there's something after the credits, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop the levels down real quick so I can talk over the credits for a bit, since I don't have that much extra time. Oh, thank you for the GGs in chat. Okay, thoughts. Oh, I do like that they have to have security on there because they had to get someone to follow around their audio engineer. Oh, that's probably why everything is awful, because they had a drone do this. Ugh. 3D model cleanup. Easton Self. That's a cool name. Okay, let me focus. Design thoughts. Let me preface this by saying that this game is not for me. This is not the type of game I would play by choice. This is not the kind of game I'm interested in. This isn't even the type of stories I'm interested in hearing, right? So I think the very twee movement in the 2010s, where we saw Wes Anderson films become super popular, and the daily life of an average person that's not super interesting. We're not telling stories about superheroes. We're not telling stories about military combat. We're not telling stories about anything of substance. We're just doing a slice of in the life. This is not something that appeals to me. I hate those films. I think in the middle of them, I'm like, I could be doing so many other things. Like, we only get so many hours on this big blue dot. Why am I here listening to something that's not going to change my life? And sadly, I feel the same way about this game, but that's very harsh. Okay. The game did, to soften the blow, this is said not to detract from the game, right? This is said that I'm not the game's core audience. I will never be the game's core audience. My thoughts and opinions do not matter to the game at all. I'm sure the people who like that kind of twee slice of life thing, I'm sure they would love it. The game did a couple things really well. Viper, I believe you pointed out that the almost penultimate level, where you had a 3D model of the park that a lot of this was set in, was cool. The effect was almost like in your memory when you're going back and you're trying to remember something, and all the details are a little bit off. So I think that was a really cool use of an effect, and that somewhat counters the use of this foggy, pixelated effect that made me extremely motion sick throughout the entire game. The final scene was probably the worst, with the ball getting passed around, and it's a very cool idea, but it's unfortunately inaccessible. If I hadn't been forced to play this game for work, I absolutely would have uninstalled and asked for a refund, because it was not fun for me. It was not enjoyable for me. I feel very sick, and I'm probably going to feel sick for the rest of the day. Oh, there we go! That's why I was assigned this. NYU Game Center Incubator. There you go. This was an incubator game. This is something that I don't have. This brings up a really good design question, right? That I don't have a great answer for. So on the one hand, we have creatives saying almost the classic argument. No one wants to say it, but people hint at, hey, user researchers, user experience designers, accessibility designers, you're actually interfering with my legitimacy and my rights as an artiste to be able to create art. Art should be upsetting. Art should be offensive. Art should make you feel bad. Art should make you nauseous. Like, that's actually the intended experience. And that's fine, right? Like, I'm not going to argue with I'm not an artist. I suck at art. Aw, they thank the professors and students at NYU Game Center. That's lovely. I'm not going to sit here and tell an artist, no, you're wrong. But at the same time, if you want people to play your game, it shouldn't make them physically ill. You know what I mean? That's a tough balance to strike, because again, I'm not the intended audience. It's fine. Like, I don't need every single game to be made for me. I don't need every single game to be accessible. But I'm sad because I think I would have gotten a lot more out of... Oh, these are really sweet. Thank yous. I would have gotten a lot more out of the game if it had been accessible, right? In terms of gameplay design, the website is despelote.game/gold. That's very cute. It's a very cute website. That re-emphasizes the tweeness I was experiencing. I'm waiting to see if there's a cutscene before I talk about gameplay. Okay. Creo que es todo. Terminamos. Okay. I don't think there's any replayability, right? Like, that's not the point. Okay, yeah, we're done. Okay, well, let's look at the extras. Wait. Scene selection, Soccer 99 free play. God, no. Okay, so that's how the scene selection works. Interesting. So there were 6 chapters. Well, I guess we could go back and we could take our quiz again. We never got our quiz graded. We never got our quiz graded. That's so sad. Okay, so let's talk about the gameplay for a second. Viper says, the voice lines in Despelote were not performed by professional voice actors. They were improvised by real people who lived in Quito and shared memories of that era. That's so cute. According to developer interviews and the press kit, the dialogues were based on unscripted recollections from friends and family of the creators who reenacted personal scenarios such as street conversations or family gatherings. That's so cute. Old Bacon Face, time for New Game Plus. Play through your childhood memories with all your adult powers unlocked. Great, you're such a teacher. I want to know how many regions there are in Ecuador. This is actually bothering me, and I know it's easy to Google, but I wish the game taught me something about Ecuador. Again, I'm not the target demographic for this. Okay, so this is a game that's very much centered in feeling in terms of gameplay. And what I mean by that is it's you're going to have a different reaction watching it. I'm sure. I mean, I don't know that for a fact because I haven't asked you, chat. But if I were to ask you, I think that you would walk away with a very different sense of the game than how I felt playing it. Which is that it's a doldrum. And I think it's intentionally a doldrum. What I mean by that is that this is a slice of life game. So a lot of your life, a lot of your time, especially growing up, where you're watching your sister in the park, is kind of spent looking at your watch and waiting for your mom to get back. That's fine. Is it the most engaging gameplay? No. Did I feel like that gameplay was in service of telling a story? Not really. I kind of got the I'm a bored kid from the get-go. And it's okay if a game is boring, and it's okay if a game makes you feel bored. And in fact, I think it's designed to do that. But in the moments where I wasn't feeling bored, I was made to feel frustrated. And that is not a combination that I love. I don't like going from boredom to frustration, boredom to frustration, boredom to frustration. And it's okay to be frustrated, right? A lot of games are designed with frustration as part of their core design, their core design pillars even. I mean, Dark Souls is the classic example. And that's fine, right? We love Dark Souls because it's frustrating. But part of the frustration stemmed from not a difficulty in boss fight or not something that I could skill up, right? If it's truly a skill issue, okay, you know what? You are allowed to tell me that it is actually a skill issue. That's totally fine. But I felt like no matter how often I spent with the ball, I never got better at shooting the ball. And the reason for that was controller based rather than skill based. The game did something really clever that I really liked, where when you got the ball, dribbling was the same as walking, which in real life, that's not true. Walking is something that we can do by default. Dribbling a soccer ball while moving is difficult. For me, certainly. That's why I played goalie. Don't have to really learn to dribble when you're sitting in goal. That's also why... Did you hear that? I've broken my thumb so many times from getting kicked in it while grabbing a ball because I was quite aggressive as a goalie. Imagine that, Ashley aggressive. So I played a lot of soccer. This did not feel like playing soccer, and it doesn't have to. This isn't a FIFA game. That's not what I'm concerned about. But what I am concerned about is the controls always felt slippery. So even though you were highly proficient, and the story tells us, right, that you're going to soccer camps, you're playing, you're constantly doing kickabouts with your friends, you're highly proficient in soccer, so you can just dribble the ball without even thinking about it. It's not even a gameplay mechanic. You just have the ball. But shooting was super difficult. The game did not give me an opportunity to control whether or not I was punting or striking. It was just... like sometimes I would end up punting, sometimes I'd end up striking. Didn't seem like it really hit a pattern. I think it was a total fluke the one time I got the ball out of the tree. The TV ad was the high point of the game, yeah. And then ultimately, like big picture stuff, so that's the nitty gritty of it. And it's okay that this game doesn't function like a typical game. There's no way to win it necessarily. What takeaways do I have of the game? What could I say I learned about design from this game? Sadly, I learned that there are shaders which can really make me feel poorly, physically awful, that could impact my motion sickness and car sickness in the same way as VR. I actually didn't know that before. I've never experienced a shader that impacted my motion sickness so severely. And maybe that's why I'm salty. The other thing I learned, I don't know. Oh God, here's what I want for this game. At times this game reminded me of the beginner's game. That's what it's called, right? Shit, now I'm second guessing myself. Hold on. Hold, please. Oh, did we have a frame rate issue? Oh. Sorry. Streamlabs was actually notifying me that an hour ago I didn't unmute myself. So thank you, Streamlabs. It's really nice of you to have that. The Beginner's Guide, that's what it's called. Okay, I'm going to compare this to a slice of life game that I really liked, and I'm going to talk about the difference. So this game, if you've ever seen this, made by Davey Rendon, sorry, I almost said Warren, Davey Rendon, the creator of Stanley Parable, made this game, which is weird. It's also kind of slice of lifey. Also, I don't know how to spell beginner, so that's cool. In which the premise of the game is that you made a friend that you've never met in, you had met in person. You met them at a game jam a long time ago. And you've been friends with this person for like 10 years, and you send each other prototypes of games that are usually crap. They're unfinished. It's just ideas. But this is your friend that you share ideas with. And so this friend stops sending you things, and you get kind of concerned about them. And they've been having some problems in their life. And so you're playing through their old games looking for clues as to what might have happened to them. And it's a game that's a lot about mental health. It's not explicitly so. And it's a game that has a point to talk about masculinity and how men communicate to other men. So when I say a game doesn't have to be for me, a game doesn't have to appeal to femininity. It doesn't have to appeal to who I am as a person for me to take meaning from it, right? But what I wanted from this particular game is something more to emerge, either about Ecuadorian culture, which we saw a little bit in the food, right? In the discussion of chucho, right? The legumes, the lentils. And also kind of general family parties. We saw a little bit of, but I want more. I wanted to learn more, like, what does it mean to be an Ecuadorian during the World Cup in 2001? And the biggest disappointment for me is when we go to the park and it's totally empty because everyone's watching the game, but we don't actually get to see, like, what is that like? I mean, at the end, we see newspaper vendors talking about the match and talking about how historic it was, but we don't get to see, like, we don't get to live through that joy. We don't get to feel that joy. We're not affected by that joy by being able to play through it and live through it in quite the same way. So I wish there was some of that. I wish the game let us experience that joy instead of, meandering around an empty park while other people got to experience joy. I also wish the game hinted at something that I thought could have potentially been maybe accidentally very meaningful, which is that Ecuador is going through this extreme inflation, right? And they're going through a failure of government leadership. Sound familiar, anyone? I can't imagine why that would be. And obviously this game was developed before 2025, so I'm not asking for the devs to have a crystal ball. That's totally irrational. But if there was more commentary, like I get that the parents ad-libbed their conversations when they're in the kitchen, but I'd hoped that maybe something really powerful that could have come out of it is showing, as a foil to how the United States media often presents what happened in these countries during times of unrest, that these are university-educated people, which we got a little bit, we got a little tiny sprinkling of, that are very creative, who are in the film industry and making movies, who are, suffering because of inflation. When you hear about civil unrest in foreign nations, you're often showed pictures of protests, you're often showed pictures of people starving on the street, but you don't really get a sense for what the middle class average person was going through. You also don't get a sense for how creative people function under times of war and stress and uncertainty. So I think if we wanted to do a slice of life and we wanted to pick this really interesting period in Ecuadorian history, I think that would have been just having those background conversations. Especially in the street, right? Because we ran into a ton of teenagers who were talking about, like, who's dating who, and they seemed completely unaware of the inflation that was happening, which maybe that's the point. Maybe the end scene with the friends when we're kicking a ball around and they're like, oh, I did poorly at school. Maybe that is the conversations that were happening, but maybe teenagers are blissfully unaware, or they just assume that that's, inflation and lack of jobs and all of these awful things. It's just kind of normal. Maybe that's the takeaway point. If so, I think the game could have done some fourth wall breaking to comment on that a little bit, just like a line or two of, we had no idea this was going on, because the game does break fourth wall, right? Multiple times Julian will come on and talk about, this is how we made this game. So I think there could have been more fourth wall, and maybe you just got the bad ending because you flunked the test. Okay. All right. It's a skill issue. All my commentary is just skill issue. Yeah, this ball, gameless ball of the tree, complete fluke. I have one more thing to say about design. I'm going to go back. I'm going to retrace my steps a little bit. The game level design, so I talked about mechanic design. Oh, stretching feels nice. Mechanically, sorry, rewind. I talked about mechanics. Mechanics felt a little sloppy. In terms of level design, I often didn't know where I was going and what I was doing. And again, if they want to break that fourth wall and have Julian come in and be like, I felt aimless as a teenager. I mean, maybe this is symbolism for that. Then I would love it. But wandering aimlessly and not knowing where to go in a level and not sure if I'm progressing the level fast enough, like, is this a timed thing? Is the game giving me 10 minutes to figure this out and then it'll just progress on to the next chapter? Or do I have to click something or trigger something for the game to progress? That I don't like having that as a question. Sorry. You can be as creative as you want, but a fundamental misstep, in addition to the accessibility and not being able to play the game, is having your player completely unsure if they're progressing the game is pretty not great. Part of me wonders if this could have been a successful comic book or a successful movie. I think that maybe games were the wrong medium. And it's clear why a game was chosen, right? Because so much emphasis goes on this FIFA game that this person loved playing as a kid. But I'm not sure that this, I think it's a media mismatch. And I hope I'm in the minority opinion here. I hope I'm just a hater. I hope I'm just a shitty person. Because again, the games don't have to be for everyone, right? That's a controversial statement, but I'll say it. I don't need every game to cater to me, and I don't think that's a reasonable expectation anyone should have. However, I need to be able to play the game. You know what I'm saying? Okay. All right. I need to do something else with my day. I need to go outside and get fresh air because I think part of I have my door shut for noise reasons, and I think part of the persistent nausea is just being in a stuffy room. So I'm going to go touch grass. I'm going to get some air. Thank you all so much for watching. Oh, yeah. DM me and ask a question whenever. My DM should be open on Discord. If you all aren't already on the Discord, then here, let me do this. Discord. Thank you all so much for watching. I will be back on the 7th of August, which is Thursday. Nifty Chris, the Twitch mod, is doing a face reveal, which, I mean, he Twitch streams, so it's not that exciting. But it's exciting because we're going to ask each other questions about the first season. I almost said first semester, which is terrible. The first season of The Research Left Behind, which is part of the reason that I'm doing a subathon on the 7th and 8th, is to... I don't expect to make a ton of money, right? I don't expect to make any money, but the stream costs $25 an episode to produce, so that I would like to recoup some of that. Just make it so it's not a cost. If I could break even, and that's not even including my Adobe Premiere subscription or any of that stuff that I use. I mean, if we include all the tech that I use that I had to buy specifically to make the stream, we're talking negative, like, I don't know, 12 grand or something. But just if I could break even. So we're going to do a subathon on the Thursday and Friday. Friday, we're just doing a goofy one. Mistress Librarian will be with us. It's going to be exciting. The Unrequited Library. When am I moving? I am moving. When am I moving? August 22nd. So I'll have a new setup. I'm scared. I'm scared if I'll be able to Twitch stream as effectively. We'll see. Oh, I'm nervous. We'll do an apartment tour. At the very least, I'll stream an apartment tour if you want. And people are like, don't do that. It's unsafe. There are weirdos on the internet. Yeah, but you're my weirdos. And also, good luck. Like, if you want to stalk me, get a hobby. I did get a job at NYU. Yep. So I'm leaving Utah and I'm moving to Manhattan to teach at NYU, which is bananas. So that's why I played this game. It was on our summer reading list. All right, is there anyone cool streaming, or should we just go raid another MAGA person? If the dev ever watches this stream, they're gonna be like, okay, I can discard every single opinion this idiot has because I do not. To be clear, if you couldn't tell by the rainbow on my shirt, do not support MAGA. One time, on accident, I raided someone who had a MAGA tag in their stream, and I didn't see it. I don't know how this happened. It was terrible. And now I will never feel safe again. There's someone who is making Halloween stuff. And I love that. So let's see. Is there a MAGA tag? I don't think so. Okay, but here's the thing. Here's the thing. In their title, it says glazing. which is my favorite slang word to reference like flattering someone unnecessarily. But they're talking about glazing pottery because they're making pumpkins. So it's a different kind of glazing. Okay. All right. Hopefully this person's not a fascist. They're making pumpkin pottery and they actually look really cool. The pumpkins look amazing. So I'm going to go ahead and bank on them not being a fascist. If they are, I apologize. Okay. Yeah. Fingers crossed. I will see you on Thursday and Friday and we'll have cake and balloons and all sorts of fun stuff. Bye everyone.